Hey, CCF. Hey, listen, I know the weather's been messing with us. It's messed up our schedules, our routines, some events that you wanted to go to, they've been postponed. But let me tell you what it hasn't messed with. It hasn't messed with our kickoff to Transformed. I am so excited. We went ahead and decided we were going to kick off Transformed last Sunday, whether we had church or not. And we did. And listen to this result. Do you know that more people listened to that message last week than if we would have had church? In the history of CCF, there were more downloads on that sermon than any other sermon. In fact, there's none that can be even compared. As of right now, we have 595 downloads on that one sermon. And then when you just stop and think about, some people listen to them in groups of 2 or 3 or whatever. So that just multiplies of how many people really have grabbed a hold of this idea of being transformed and what God can do in our life. And we are so excited about what God is doing with this Transformed. I've already heard from some of our small groups were able to meet this week, and have heard from some of those leaders. And some of those leaders are telling me that community really is being built. In one group, they found out. Now, this is a brand new group, which, by the way, we have 8 brand new groups that have never been meeting before. And one of them, they were determined that they were going to have community, and they heard that it was one of the couples' anniversary on that very night. So the group leader made an ice cream cake and wrote on there happy anniversary, and then at the end, you know, the group comes around and sings happy anniversary. I mean, can you imagine that? You show up for a group meeting about being transformed, and here they are loving and caring for you. That's what's happening in our transformed groups. Another family was telling me about listening to the sermon online. And on that sermon, they brought their family together, and it led to a great discussion afterwards, which would have never have happened. So we are excited about what God is doing. There's many, many new people that are connecting into these groups. And I want you to know that it's not too late. If you have not connected yet into one of our small groups, into a transformed group, we want you to know it's not too late. You can online just go to ccfchurch.net. That's ccfchurch.net. Click on the transformed graphic, and up will come a link so that you can sign up for one of these groups. Now, if you're already in a group, I want to remind you about 2 things. One thing is, don't forget about this business-sized little business card that says, "Because God is changing me." Listen, take that business card and look and be praying, who can I serve? Be looking around when you go to Stop and Shop, when you go to Shaw's, when you go to Dave's Market, wherever you shop, or in your neighborhood, just stop and be asking God, who can I serve? What can I do? How can I get out of my comfort zone? And just look for opportunities to serve someone else. And just serve them. Because we know that God brings about change in our lives when we get our eyes off of ourselves and onto other people. And this is just a great way for that to happen. So, and when appropriate, you could leave them this little business card and just let them know, they're thinking in their mind, why would you do this for me? Because God is changing me. He's transforming me. That's why. And then this week is our memory verse that we're trying to memorize. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verses 19 and 20. And this week, as we focus on physical health and that our bodies really are holy. So many times we think come to church and holy, the church is holy, or the sanctuary is holy, or, the platform or the altar is holy. But do you know that God, that was a temple way of worshiping? And Paul made it very clear that Jesus brought a new covenant and a new way of worship. And now Jesus says, no, it's not, the temple's not holy, the sanctuary's not holy, the altar's not holy. You know who's holy? You are holy. So take care of your temple, of that holy temple. and what we do to it. So this week we're focused on just being physically healthy. So our verse to memorize, I hope you're doing this every week. And as a small group, you guys should be working on a different verse every week. This week, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and verses 19 and 20, that you are God's holy temple. I am trusting that as we continue to do the daily readings in God's Word, as we continue to look at these verses, that God is going to do a transforming work in you and in me.